Hey y'all, this is Toya. You tuned in to Healthy Talks and Walks with Toya. Well, we are generational curse breakers that are growing in the uncomfortable. Hey y'all, so let me tell y'all, hell and high water. Hell and high water. You understand me? So the reason I want to talk about that, I'm gonna talk about it, but if you have not watched, I encourage you to go back and watch my Power of Consistency video. It's on my YouTube, and we talk about the fact that we had water damage, right? So the water damage started off one small little drop, and now it has escalated. We had to move out, all sorts of stuff, okay? So if you're watching on Facebook and IG, don't forget to click the link in the bio so that way you can see the whole video on my YouTube. So I'm going to get right into it. Hell and high water will reveal what's your foundation. I'll say that again. Hell and high water will reveal what's your foundation. So I want to give you some scripture on that. Matthew 7:24-27 says, "The foolish and wise builders. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and put them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Though the rains and torrents and the flood waters rise, and the winds beat against that house, it will not collapse because it is built on the rock." So I want to back up and talk about this though. So I looked up though, and though is basically, it's a conjunction, and a conjunction and though basically means despite the fact. So if we put that back, if I go back and read this, and it says, if you hear my words and put them into practice, you're like a wise man that builds your house on a rock. Though, despite of the fact that the flood waters rise and the winds beat against your house, it won't collapse. It goes on to talk about the foolish man that built his house on the sand, because it collapsed when the flood water rise. So it's not a matter of if the flood waters are going to rise. It's a matter of when, because it said though. That means despite of, meaning that it will come to you at some point. Right? So it reveals to you what's your foundation on. Is it going to be on a rock or is it going to be on sand? You got a choice to make. Right? And we have a choice to make. My husband and I, we got a choice to say, we going to stand on this rock. We going to stand on the word. What are we built our foundation on? Right? And so flood waters, I don't know why I can't say that word today. Flood waters have risen. Thing after thing after thing with these claims, with these insurance people, all this sort of stuff. You got regular life stuff, you got work stuff, you got physical health stuff going on. And guess what? What is your foundation built on? Is it on the rock or is it on the sand? I also want to give a shout out to my daddy, because my daddy has demonstrated this to us growing up, honey. When circumstances got crazy at our house when we was young, sometimes my daddy, with tears in his eyes, we gonna walk to church. You understand me? Because we got to go get a word to figure out how we gonna press through. We got to get a word to encourage ourselves. So my daddy walked with us to church. Sometimes we'll call a ride back, but we walked there. I've seen my daddy cry and pray and call out to the Lord. So I knew how to do the same thing. When these flood weathers went to rise, and guess what? I said, I'm going to trust God. I did an episode the other day about, do you trust God? Right? And then not only when you make a choice on, do you trust God? Sometimes circumstances will happen and you got to remind yourself that we trust in God. Because today they just gave me some old news, put more weight on the bar, right? And I had to remind myself, I'm going to trust God right here. The flood waters are rising for everybody in different circumstances, right? I'm going to do another episode talking about the small foxes. That can be considered a flood weather as well. So I just want to encourage you guys, as I encourage myself, hell and high water will visit. It's not a matter if it visit. It's a matter of when it visit. What is your foundation? Is it going to be the rock? And your house can take some wind and some flood waters or some torments and different things or whatever? Or is it going to be the sand and it do all of that stuff and you collapse? So I had to take last week to kind of like get my mind right, and I'm back. And I thank God for that. So I thank God for Monday. I thank God for yesterday. I had to press in yesterday, go get me a word. So I just encourage you guys to do the same thing. Get with like-minded people, pray for each other, cover each other, and everything like that. But more than anything, trust God, get in his word, because I had to go to the word today to eat, to find a word that's going to help me be sustained, to remind me that if I build my house on the rock, though, despite of the flood waters rising, we will stand. So I just wanted to encourage you all. This is Latoya Calhoun, Healthy Talks and Walks. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share, because it may bless somebody else. Peace.